Hey guys, thank you so much for coming to today's video. So today I'm going to be decluttering again. I decided to go through another area of my makeup because I need to all the time, let's be real. So today we're doing foundations and concealers. I got this big old basket and thinking about it, I don't really feel like I have a lot because I have a lot of favorites. So I have a lot of like duplicates in here. But let's be real, this is a little excessive even for me. So if you guys are interested in watching me declutter my foundations and concealers, let's get into the video. So I feel like this video is definitely not going to be as long as some of my other declutters, just because there's a lot of duplicates in here and I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that long. Hopefully it won't be. I hate when my decluttering videos get way too long. I like to keep it like, you know, like not an hour, 45 minutes long. That's way too long. Who has time for that? First, I will just start with my favorites, obviously, because I know I'm keeping them. There might be some that are old that I should throw away, but we're gonna start with the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. This has been my go-to favorite for the last like 3-4 months. I used to love this one years ago and I just kind of went back to it and it replaced my other favorite, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I have 5 of them right here and I've gone through so many. So I have 2 shade 6, a shade 4, a shade 5, and a shade 2, which the shade 4 is like almost gone. So I think I'm just going to get rid of that. I don't know when it's from, but I need to just replace it. The shade 2 is almost gone. I use this one when my self-tan has worn off all the way. I pretty much use all these shades. I'm wearing shade 6 today and this one like is almost gone and it like exploded. So I just need to get rid of that one. I already have a replacement for that one, the shade 6. I think shade 4 I don't love on my skin tone. So I think maybe I just won't replace that one. I'll just continue using 2, 5, and 6 depending on if I'm self-tanned or not. But I'll get rid of those and the number 2 is pretty much gone. So I'm just keeping the 5 and 6 that are more new and I just need to get a new number 2. I forgot to say though that this foundation, it's such a great like medium to full coverage. I wouldn't say full coverage, but it's like a natural medium coverage and it just looks so nice. I don't know, I just can't stop using it. So my favorite before that was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation and I have 4 right now, I think. Yes. So I have 4 of them. I have soft beige, bronze beige, and then 2 in golden beige. So kind of just the same thing, just when I'm different color, I use different ones. Let's see how much. It's hard to tell if there's a lot in here or not. So the soft beige looks fine, so I'll keep that. This bronze beige, I don't know if you can, it like looks pretty thick and chunky in there, so maybe I'll get rid of that one. And then I have 2 golden beige, which, yeah, this one's like gone. So getting rid of that. And this one I think is fine. There's probably still some in there. So I'm keeping 2 of the 4 of those. This is my only 2 other foundation options, which this one's a tinted moisturizer, which the last time I used this like 2 or 3 days in a row, I broke out really bad and I don't know if it's from this or not. So I've been scared to use it. But I've used this so many times before and I didn't really notice anything. I love using this on days where I don't do makeup or I just want to even out my skin real quick and maybe like put some brow gel in my brows and like some lip gloss and that's it. Like it's just nice for just helping even things out a little bit. It has like a nice glowy sheen going on, like not sticky, but you know, it gives you like a little dewiness, if you will. So I really like it, but I'm like, you know, when you think something might have broken you out, you don't want to use it, but at the same time, you don't want to get rid of it because what if it wasn't this? So I don't know. Does this break any of you guys out? Let me know. Any of the IT Cosmetics, you know, CC creams, tinted moisturizers, any of those, like, do they break you guys out? Let me know. But I think for now, I'll just keep it. And if I haven't used it in another like month or so, I'll just toss it. But it really was one of my favorites. And the last foundation that I have is the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I did a video when I first got this. I do need to pick up a lighter shade because this one is pretty dark. So if I'm a little more fair, I would like to have an option for this. But this is really nice. I will say it does need some extra moisture from underneath, or maybe this is good for someone who has like really oily skin already. But for me, if I do a little too much powder on top, or I don't really make sure to like moisturize underneath, it just starts looking cakey and bad and just not good. So it's kind of tricky, but once you figure out the formula and how to wear it, it's really beautiful, long wearing, very full coverage, and I really love it. So next we have concealers, all different kinds. I'll talk about these three kind of under eye, more orangey toned things. The ones that are supposed to just cover right under, like the just dark part right there, they're supposed to just help color correct. So my favorite one of the three is the Catrice Camouflage Cream. It's very good at just covering stuff without being too orange or too bright or anything. It just really helps. I'm wearing this today under my eyes, under my makeup, under my eyes. But I really love this one. But again, it's going to depend on your skin tone. I feel like they might have one more shade that's a deeper shade, but I'm not sure. I also have this is a City Color Photo Chic Dark Spot Corrector. This one's a lot more like orange, peachy orange. If you could see that one there. This one does a pretty good job, but I feel like if I ever use that on its own, it just doesn't really do much for me. So maybe I'll just get rid of that. It's looking kind of gross anyways. It's, you know, it's almost gone. So I'll just get rid of that one. Then I have the NYX Dark Circle Concealer, and it looks like that. I don't know. Can't even get my fingernail in there. Or finger, because of my fingernail. So that one's very similar to the City Color one, but I feel like it's a little more like pigmented and pink. So I think I'll hold on to this one just in case I need a more like orangey, peachy, undertoned eye dark circle under eye corrector. Sometimes I can't speak. Then the only green color corrector that I own is the Naked Skin by Urban Decay Color Corrector Fluid in green. And this one I really love. I remember a few years back, Sephora was like into all the color correcting craze. It was like, just, you know, everybody needs color correct everything under your makeup. It was a big deal. So I tried a bunch of different ones, and this was just my favorite. It just works the best. The shade of it isn't too green, isn't too like dark green, and it also isn't too like bright. So I'll just dab this on. I kind of let it sit for a few minutes to kind of get a little more dried, and then I'll just go in and tap it out. And you barely want the green, like you barely even want to see the green. For days when I have a bunch of acne spots coming through and they're just bright red, this really helps to calm down the red first before you go in with your foundation. That way they don't show through your foundation at all. It just kind of cancels out the red and you're good to go. Next, I have two of these little IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. One is the full coverage and one is the illumination. And this is medium natural and this one is medium. Oh, the illumination one is basically gone, so that's trash. So there's that right there. So it is a little bit lighter than my face. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one because I do use it sometimes. I definitely need to use it up before it goes bad though. So I have one more potted concealer, and then the rest are just like stick concealers. So this is the Anastasia concealer in 0.75. This is a really nice concealer. The reason I got this was just to do like clean up under my eyebrow when I'm doing like a really intense look and I want everything to be really sharp and clean. That's the purpose of this. I think I could have got a shade or two darker than this, but it is a really good formula. There's a lot in there. Like, I don't know if it's gonna go bad before I use it, but it's definitely very, very pigmented. So now we have stick concealers is the only thing left. I do have duplicates. Let's start with my favorite. It is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, the original, and with the black cap. I do have two of the illuminating ones, which I don't like as much. If you have really dry under eyes, maybe I would suggest these, but I don't have a problem with these being too drying or anything. And these ones just are not as pigmented. I will use them, but they're not my favorite. So I will keep these four, the e.l.f. Camo Concealers, and they're only $5. That's, you can't argue with that. Great concealer for only $5. Next, I have the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer, which I think I've had these for a while. They're looking gross and separated, and honestly, okay, like the little thing inside is not in there anymore, so it's just wide open. I prefer the e.l.f. Okay, I'm throwing that in the trash right now because it's leaking. I do prefer the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and these I think are like $6-7, so they're a little more expensive, but they're not as good of coverage as the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, so I'm just gonna toss these. They're probably old and gross anyways. Next, I have the ColourPop No Filter Concealer, which I feel like I liked, but I don't really like the shade. It's way too orange, and I was having a really hard time. They have a lot of shades, but I was swatching them in Ulta one time and I just couldn't. It was like everything was just way too pink or like gray looking on me, or yellow or orange. It seemed like the colors aren't very neutral at all. Like they're just, I don't know, like I don't really like their color selection, but I do like the formula. So I do mix this in sometimes with a lighter concealer if I need to darken it a little bit. So I will keep this one. The next, kind of the same thing with the Tarte Shape Tape. I love this concealer, the consistency, the coverage, all of that, but I just cannot find a good shade for me. I don't know why. I've now bought 3 of these, I believe. The first one I've gotten rid of because it was way too light. I didn't even swatch it. I just grabbed like the lightest shade because I was used to just getting the lightest shade in a concealer because usually that's what I was. But it was way too light. It just made me look weird and gray and I didn't like it. So that's those 2 shades right there. And this bottom one just looks way too like gray on me, and then the top one isn't too bad, but it's a little too dark sometimes. So I'm really trying to use these because they're like $28 each. So this is like over $50, just these 2. And I always wait too long to return things, and I don't like trying to return things after like months and months have gone by, and it feels weird. If I didn't like it, I should have returned it in a decent time. And so I'm trying to use them, but I don't know. I feel like it's like everybody's favorite concealer, and I feel like I'm missing out because I can't find my shade. Okay, I have only 2 more in here. One is the Naked Skin Weightless Coverage Concealer by Urban Decay. This one I really loved for any kind of acne spots. I would just dab it on and use my finger to kind of tap it out. And it worked really well for that. I think it's dried up and gross, so I'm tossing this one. And the last one is the Smashbox Studio Skin Waterproof Concealer. This one was also really nice for doing the same thing, kind of tapping out for just kind of spots that needed extra concealing. So I think I'll keep this one just because it's really nice for that, but it is probably getting old. The formula seems really nice still, so keep that. Oh, there's 4 more, just kidding. They were hiding right in front of me. So I have 4 of the Fit Me Concealer by Maybelline. I have 2 in the shade 10. I have a shade 5 and a shade 15. And what is so strange is that the shade 15 you'd think would be darker than the shade 5, but it goes the other way. So I'll show you. This shade right here is the shade 15, and then this is 10. So the higher the number, the lighter the shade, which is kind of opposite. I'm not sure if that's how their foundations are, but it's a little confusing. But then, yeah, no, that doesn't even make sense because this is shade 5 and it's way lighter than both of those. I don't know what they're doing with their shade numbers, but I would appreciate it if they were less confusing. But I really do like this concealer. It's just like a nice, not full coverage, but it gives you a decent coverage. I wouldn't, you know, it's just a nice concealer for days when you're not trying to like completely undo all of your under eye stuff. And looking at it, I think I can get rid of the shade 10, which I have 2 of. But these are old, so, you know, I need to clear it out. All right, we're done. All right, now this is what we're looking at. I know it's hard to show you guys in this little thing, but that's a lot better than it was before. I have been waiting. I feel like I just put off decluttering now because I'm like, oh, I'll do a video. I'll just wait. So now I need to actually do the videos because the declutter gets out of control. You know, where am I going with that? I don't even know. All right, so I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know if you like decluttering videos. I know I do because it helps, for one, get me motivated to declutter my own stuff, and 2, it really shows you what people really love and are holding on to. I think it's kind of like a all-time favorites kind of video because you really see what they want to keep and why. So let me know what I should declutter next. I have a lot more stuff. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already. I do 3 videos a week, and ring the little notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!